Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Strong Opinion Hibs podcast. I'm Charlie, and as always, I'm joined by Jack and Calvin. I didn't really care how yous are, so we're just going to jump right into it.
Come on,
it's all right. It's all right, mate. So, obviously, there's only really one thing to start with. We're going to obviously preview the upcoming game at Tynecastle on Saturday, 3:00 kickoff. The three of us will be there, plus Aldo the Pie Man and his daughter. So, Jack, how you feeling, mate?
I mean, how do you feel before an Edinburgh? It's a mix of emotions ranging from absolutely crapping it to, in the spirit of the day, absolutely buzzing. I think, the emotions are all over the place. But I think looking at it from, that's just as a fan, looking at it from a footballing point of view, I don't know, it's one of those ones, there's a lot riding on it, obviously. We sort of need to win to get ourselves in the top six. So, which isn't great having to go to Tynecastle and having top six riding on it. And also, on the other side of it, we've got a decent record at Tynecastle. I think we're unbeaten there since, 20... Well, I'm trying to remember the last time we lost there. It was 2018, I think.
I think so.
It could even been 2017.
2018, I think, mate, right at the start.
Bear in mind, they were relegated for that year, though.
Still unbeaten there. Just got to say, but
it's going to.
So I'm quietly confident. But I shouldn't have said that. But I'm quietly confident, as always. I'm in the derbies because I'm just a mad. So for Western Hills. So I'm always quietly confident. But no, it's just a range of emotions, a mix of emotions, really, as it always is with the derbies.
Calvin, I see you've got Jason Cummins on your back, mate.
I'm getting the cum dog up. I'm probably my most favourite Edinburgh Derby player.
How are you? How are
against the Hearts?
He did. We've not had somebody like that in a wee while, probably since him anyway. How are you feeling going into it, Calvin?
Not good. Not good. Nah. Not looking forward to it at all. Not only will the game be miserable, but the company will be miserable as well. Except for Aldo and his door. I'm sure they'll be sound. But nah, honestly, I'm not looking forward to it, man. It's going to be. I think the Edinburgh Derby is a rubbish fixture, man. If you're a Hibs fan, like it is. Jack, what are you looking shocked for, mate? Is that terrible?
I love it.
The football that gets played is eye-bleeding stuff. It is so bad. I think Hibs will set up not to lose rather than to go out and try and win. And I think it will be a very nervy game, man. And I'm not looking forward to it. I'll just be stressed out. And after that game's over, I've got the stressing next week as well. So I'm no buzzing at all now.
Yeah, I think I'm the same. I think I'm looking forward to the company and the breakfast and the pints before it. And then as soon as 3:00 comes, I'll be, for lack of a better phrase, I'll be shitting a brick for 90 minutes because I just didn't enjoy.
You standing next to Jack then?
You're telling me about it. I didn't enjoy games at Tynecastle.
I'm not getting his fumes.
I think it's one of those games though that like we need to win, and that makes it more and more intense. I think for going into it. I've started getting the pre-derby nerves already, and we're still 48 hours away from it. So it's not going to be an enjoyable day tomorrow, I think. And then Saturday morning, I'll be properly nervous. So obviously the last two Edinburgh derbies, boys, have been 0-0 draws. Do you think this one has the possibility of us seeing a goal, hopefully in a green and white shirt? Calvin, do you think we'll see any goals on Saturday, or do you think it'll be another 0-0?
I think it'll definitely end up in a draw. I think Hearts will be reluctant to go all out because I think they'll be saving their game plan for next week. So I think both teams will just probably try and set up not to lose. I don't think a draw is good enough for us, though. I don't think a draw doesn't see us in the top half. I don't think.
I think there's a way that we finish top six if we draw, but I think
we need results to go away.
I'm going to put my head in the line now, and I'll say we're not going to get it. We're not going to get top six. I don't think so. I'm not being negative. I'm just being realistic. I don't think we're going to get it. We've played like a bottom six side for most of the season for me. Been very poor. Very poor. I can see a goal, maybe 1-1. I think it'll end in a draw. I don't think there'll be a clear winner at Tynecastle, unfortunately.
I think I'm sort of feeling the same. Jack, what do you think, mate? Do you think, like Calvin and myself, it'll be another draw? Can you see Hibs winning, or can you see the more regular scoreline in a derby of Hearts taking all the points?
I think it's a tough one for me because I think in reality it's going to be a draw because, like, I agree with you two. I think both us and them are just going to. I think the semi is a distraction for both teams. To be honest, I think this one, in the grand scheme of things, for them certainly doesn't matter. To be honest, they're in third. The worst they're probably going to do is fourth, but there's still a huge gap there. So I don't think they're going to mess third up because they're far enough ahead.
They're 14 points clear with 16 left to play
it's
for.
It's a massive swing for them to finish anything more than third now.
I think so. Way. But that's what I was saying. That I think that it's a meaningless game for them. They've more or less secured third. They're going to be in the top six. It's a meaningless game for them. It's full focus on the semi. For us, there's a bit more riding on it, which I think means we're going to obviously be a bit more defensive, a bit more cautious. The football romanticist in me would like to say that we're going to win 1-0, that there's going to be one goal in it. I think it's either going to be a score draw or it's going to be 1-0 either way for me. I think it's going to be a very tight game, and neither side are really going to come out and play because I think they're going to save that for the semi, and so are they. Be in real reality. The semi's the one that's got more riding on it. For both in reality, I think, finishing bottom six.
I do think Hibs have to play though. I think Hibs have to come and play.
I think we have to go.
We've got to win it. If Maloney doesn't win it, and with the sort of the foundations that Jack Ross and that has set over the last 2 years, we never spent, what was it, longer than, was it a couple of weeks or something outside the fourth place? Again, when was the last time we were in fourth place? Was it a couple of weeks ago? But for me, I would be disappointed if Maloney didn't try and win the game. However, saying that, I think we'll see more of the same, what we've seen all year. For me, anyway.
Do you think it's going to be like the last derby, Calvin, where Hibs are going to set up to try and almost win the midfield battle and then take it for there? Or do you think it's going to be like a hit them on the counter-attack? Or how do you sort of see it going?
If it was me, I think we've got to try and... I would save the counter-attack for the semi. For me, if in the semi-final, I would have 11 men behind the ball, and the only ball I'd be looking for all day would be Jasper over the top to Melkerson, because I don't think we're good enough to beat them at Hampden. I don't. I've seen it too many times. I'm being realistic this time, and hopefully a bit of reverse psychology as well might take in place. But no, for me, I think we've got to try and get the ball wide, but not just to Jasper. It's been the same ball every single time. But then again, you look at it, who starts? Does Dreyright start? Does Chris Mueller start? I mean, I don't think Mueller's really offered that much since he's came, to be honest with you. Does Harry Clark start and push Cadden a wee bit further up?
I think for me, it's got to be the same team that played last week, because I think that's our strongest team available.
Bench is weak away.
I think the bench is weak, mate. But I think you've seen it before with derbies like Ross Caldwell. Never really played much. Jordan Foster has came into a derby like. It's almost like I hate the phrase, the format goes out the window, but it really does in these kind of games. I think personally, I would just stick with the same team, and then, I think we just need to go.
For both games?
Probably. No, I'd bring Porteous will be back in for the semi.
Right, okay.
Rocky out, Porteous in for next week. But for Saturday, mate, we've just got to go for it. Albeit watch the hoofball, because Hearts love a hoofball. And I think that's going to be where we get potentially caught out. But no, Jack, what about yourself, mate? Do you think it's going to be the sort of attack-minded team that we saw, albeit result didn't go our way against Dundee United, but in spells we looked like we wanted to take the game to them? So do you think it needs to be that sort of fast-flowing front three that we had on Saturday?
Yeah, absolutely, because we need to take the game to them. It's as simple as that. Otherwise, we're just not going to get anything out of it. We need to have that hit them quickly, fast flowing football against them. That's what we need. And I think you look at it like, see if we can, and I know we've said this so many times in so many other games, but if we can just take our chances, we've got a hope in this game. See Melkerson gets a chance like he does against United on Saturday, and he scores. We just might need one like that, and that we could win. It's as simple as that. And I think that does. This one's on a knife edge for me. This one's on a knife edge. So anything like that,
We had that chance last derby though, and
Aye,
Sybil
true.
got off the line. Do you know what I mean?
On the line,
it's got to be.
I think though, like we've seen and Boyle had that chance at Tynecastle, albeit Craig Gordon pulled off a great save. I think we've seen it though, like out of the 3 games, I would argue that Hibs have had the better chances, and we've not put them in. But how many times have you seen it that Hearts get that one chance and they take it? Like I think it's almost got to be reversed this time, where I would love it if Hearts battered us on 90 minutes and we get a last minute dodgy goal to win it. Like
a handball into the net, a handy God, that would do me.
Somebody would, every Hibs fan would bite your hand off it, but I think it's got to have to be a lot like the game at Easter Road, where we're going to have to get that midfield battle right. And that sort of brings me on to the next wee question, Jack. Maloney mentioned in the press this week and on Tuesday night Easter Road that he doesn't think physicality will be an issue for these next 2 games. Do you agree with that statement?
I think it's one of those ones that it's like, you hope they don't say it, it's going to come back to bite us. But, you know, I'm going to say it now, and I agreed with what Sean was saying at the Q&A, that I think we looked more than players like Newell, we looked more than ready for it in the 0-0. And I see Calvin shaking his head, but I've got an opinion as much as him.
I'm shaking my head because you're talking about the Q&A and you never invited me, you bastard.
Well, no, we did.
That's what anyway, I'm saying.
I thought he was going to.
I'm not shaking my head at your opinion.
Negative Nelly, but no.
No.
No, I thought like players like Newell in the midfield, they looked more than up for it. Came what I mean at Easter Road, and they were putting in. They were getting into the tackles, they were getting in, and they seemed to just up it a bit because you knew the meaning of the fixture. And so I agree with Sean Maloney on in that respect, but at the same time, for the Hearts, it's pin it on the dressing room wall stuff, that, isn't it? You know what I mean? So I think you've got to be careful about saying that sort of stuff in public. But I'm all up for the fighting talk. That's what I'm here for. I'm up for the fighting talk for you, Sean. I like it. You know, Neil Lennon used to do it all the time, and we had a decent enough record in the derbies with him. So, you know, I think the thing is, that's what you need to do. You need to rile them up. You need to be saying like things like that. You need to be getting in their faces. So that's what the rivalry is all about at the end of the day. It's about the mudslinging as much as it is the football on the pitch. That's what makes Edinburgh Derby great for me, is you can have a bit of a laugh with both sides and everything like that. And you can get things back, like Craig Levine saying, natural order and everything like that. You know, these things always come back to bite at either side. And that's what makes Edinburgh Derby great for me. So yeah, you know, I do think the physicality for my money won't be as much of an issue as it maybe has been in the past, because we've got players like Newell that will step up and they know what it takes, they know what they need to do in that game. So for me, the physicality won't be as much of an issue. As Sir Calvin, I'd like to issue my public apology, but emails were sent out. If you don't look at your email, that's not really.
I can look at my email, but I wouldn't get used to it. We're being over it. You're a rat. Anyway,
Calvin, same question to yourself, mate. Obviously, you're not a big fan of Joe Newell. It's on record. But I think last derby proved a lot of people wrong, myself included, because he stepped up. Do you think this is the type of game at Tynecastle where we need to win, that players like Joe Newell, Jake Doyle-Hayes, maybe Josh Campbell if he gets a shot? Do you think this is the type of game that they need to show why Maloney's put a lot of time and investment into them?
Well, if you can't get up for this game, then you shouldn't be wearing a Hibs jersey, full stop. For me, I think pretty much every derby I've watched growing up, Hibs have been physically out-muscled and bullied for Hearts all over the pitch. And for me, whenever I watch the two teams, I always see Hibs as the football inside. Like, when you go watch Hibs, right, and I say this to my mates all the time, my Hearts pals, you go watch Hibs play the other 10 teams in the league, right? We'll get the ball down and we'll pass it, and we'll try and pass the ball, right? The minute we play Hearts, we get dragged into their game, that sort of physical game, no football played, just root one football up to the striker, we just hoof it, and it never ever works. Every time we actually get the ball down on the ground and we pass, we beat Hearts, so they can't keep up with us. And I always see Hearts as like this big sort of physical bullying team that, you know, will lump the ball up and knock it down for a 1-0 win or something like that, like a late goal or something. They never play fast, flowing, expansive, like really attractive football in that. For me, anyway, every time I've watched Hearts, I've never got that from them. But I've seen Hibs do that quite a lot. And that's a big difference between the two teams for me. And I feel like if we're going to win, yes, we are actually going to have to be very physical with them. And like you said, I wasn't a fan of Joe Newell because I just didn't think he'd done enough. And for me, I know I got hounded for it, but I thought at times in other games, I felt like when the going got tough, he started to hide. And I've seen that in a few games from him. Like Aberdeen away when we got beat 1-0 and when Ramirez scored, there was times when he could have took the ball and it was like he wasn't brave enough to take it. But listen, I'm going to be sending him a tweet every night saying, I'm praying for you, Joe. I love you, Joe. You can do it this weekend, Joe. Come on. Ken, I'm going to be sending him DMs this week and try and get him. But for the next 2 weeks, I'll be sending him a DM every night to try and I don't know, inspire him in some way, shape, or form. But yeah, I think.
Through soon, isn't it?
What's that?
I said that restraining order's coming through soon, isn't it?
Yeah. And then I think Jay Doyle Hayes. I think the last derby was the first time I ever saw him make a tackle. Right, that's if you hear any barking, that's the dog going because there's someone going mad outside. But the dog reckons 2-1 Hibs.
I think you're right, mate. I think the last derby we've seen a lot from your Joe Newells and your Jado Hayes, your Dabrowski too. First derby, first game for Hibs, really, first competitive one anyway. Pulled out a wonder performance. In the last derby at Tynecastle, Matt Macy as well. Like both derbies this season, the keepers have been good. It's funny that we've all got derby wins as our background on Zoom, and it's funny that like going into those derbies, sort of Hearts were the bigger team, the better team. Except maybe your one, Calvin, with me.
I wouldn't say they were a mile and I
heard that number,
but like that was a great night.
There's individual players in each of our pictures, and it brings me to my next point of like Frank Sosie, Derek Riordan, and Gary O'Connor and Jason Cummins and that. Like, who in this Hibs team needs to step up this weekend? For me, Paul Hanlon needs to step his game right up this weekend. Club captain, and it comes to the front. Paul Hanlon, Rocky and Clark, if that's the back three, or just like they need to step the game up for me. And if we get the defence right and we're tight at the back, I think the rest takes care of itself. I'll get out eventually.
Yeah,
Jack, I know. For you, which players in the team do you first of all want to see step up, and second of all expect to see step up?
Oh, I'll get the ball rolling with this one. And first of all, player that I want to see step up, because I think he has the ability to be a bit of a derby hero, Melkerson. I think he has the ability to be that derby hero for us, but he needs to put what happened against United behind him. Because I know he's a young lad, and things like that will get to a young player's head. You know, I work within football, and I've seen it at Edinburgh City. We've got a young player, and I'm not going to name names, but she makes misses like that. It gets to her head, and it's normal for young players that it affects them. It can't get to his head. This is a big chance for him to. He endeared himself at Motherwell. He's got a big chance to endear himself at Tynecastle. Jasper, I'd love to see him step up, because I think Jasper again, he could be the big player in this game. You know, if he sort of finds that bit of him that's more direct instead of doing all the fancy flicks and everything.
Yeah,
I think Jasper could really prove pivotal in the game for me. And then the player I think we need to step up. Completely agree with you, Charlie Hanlon. He's the captain. He knows what wins at Tynecastle feel like. He's been there before. I think he's got history in that stadium. I need to remind you about 2-2. We're 2-0 down at Tiny. You know, so Hanlon's got all that. He's got the armband. The buck stops him in that game. It's as simple as that. The buck stops him in that game. Whatever happens on that pitch, the buck stops him. And we really need him as a captain, as a Hibs supporter as well. I'm going to say as a Hibs supporter who grew up on there. And I know what that's like to grow up on their side of the town. Grew up in Stockton, you got to remember, on their side of the town. Must have been horrible being a Highbie for him doing it at Stockton. It was horrible for me when I was a bairn. So I've got to say, he knows what it means. Not just as a club captain, but as a Hibs fan, he needs to step up and put in the performance of his life. I just want to say that now, Paul. You earned that armband, mate. You earned that armband, and I think you proved Mr. Banks there wrong or not. I'd love to see
day next week as well.
Day next week,
honestly. So I'm getting a bit passionate here, but seriously, not just as a club captain, but as a Hibs fan, step up, Paul. We believe in you. Oh, I believe in you anyway. I put these two miserable so-and-so's probably didn't, but I do.
You sounded like Chris Miller there. I believe that we will win. I believe that we will win.
I'm willing to be proved wrong, as I've always said about Hanlon. Calvin, same question to you, mate. Who do you want to step up, and who are you expecting to step up?
Well, here's where the problem lies with me, because this is actually a point I was going to make tonight. I don't think we have any big game players in our squad. I don't think we have it. For me,
I think on that, the one that we do have is suspended.
Aye, that's true. That's true. And he was a big game player last time we played them in terms of being at the back. But I'm talking about like sort of like that creative flair and that like finishing touch. I mean, like when you look back, you've got Boyle. I would say this season probably a big game player. For me, looking back in the past, you've got I must mention Cummins every single derby at the time we play Hearts. But for me, probably the first player in my lifetime that every time we played Hearts, you were guaranteed a goal when Cummins played. And I just thought it was the way he was so passionate about scoring against them and getting it right up them is everything we lack right now, I feel. But I'd echo what Jack says, because I think Jack's right. I think Melkerson's got the ability to be a hero. The reason I think it is because he reminds me a lot of Cummins. He's got the same sort of swagger. He's got that bit of swagger about him, that bit of confidence, that bit of self-belief. That's something we've been missing this season. And like Jack says, he needs to put that Dundee United chance behind him because he'll score far more goals than he's going to miss for us. So put it behind him. I would rather he missed that one last week than miss one this week and next week. So for me, like I said, I'd be looking for that ball over the top like we done against Motherwell every single time we can hit them on the break. Because I tell you what, I'm not as consistent as Hearts have been this year. They're not that great a team. They've got a lot of injuries in that. I know I've never played them at full strength this year because they've had a few injuries in that, but they've never had. They're not that great. They're no world beaters. I mean, there they are last week, 1-1 against Ross County. They've had a few other dodgy results this year and all. So by no means are they unbeatable. They're certainly not, perhaps as good as we were last year, or in previous years. I don't think they're that good. I just think they've been more consistent. And mind you, they've not had that manager change midway through the season, like a complete rebuild almost. So for me, I think that we just need to sort of keep it together. And Melkerson for me over the top. I think in terms of stepping up, you're going to have to ask Doig and Cadden to step up.
Massively.
Because they're going to be up against that Barry Mackay. One of them, I can't imagine. I don't know which one of the two, but they'll try and get that Mackay on the ball quite a lot, I imagine. And he's quite a flair player for them. He's a good player and all. So whoever's on him is going to have to step up. And I also feel like probably echo Hanlon. Hanlon's going to have to get Huddy Boyce and let him ken that he's there and freaking hit him hard and let him ken that he's got to be there next week and all. Do you know what I mean? I'm talking bully him, grab him, bully him, ragdoll him around and says, Ken, what? You're getting this next week, eh? You're getting it. Poro's got to be back as well. You're getting this next week. Do you know what I mean? Just fucking bully him, man. Seriously.
I echo everything, mate. I think it's going to be one of those games where if we get the first tackle's got to set the pace. If we go in half-hearted with a tackle, they're going to wipe the floor with us. But if we go in, mind Darren McGregor on who was Don Cowie, he fucking went through him, and that was it.
Aye.
You're not winning the day, Herse. That's it. First tackle, Hanlon gets an opportunity, smack him. Go like he did at Hampden against the Huns. Just go through him, and it sets the pace.
It's worth a yelly. One thing I'll say, do you know who needs to step up massively? Is the fans. The fans need to step up massively because Easter Road, for me, the last couple of weeks has been it's been a library, man. It's been really poor. I think we only step up in the big games. We only sing. We never sing. When you sing at Easter Road, folk are looking at it like you got two heads. It's crazy, man. The fans need to step up massively for the first whistle, right to the 90th minute, man. All the way right behind the team. Even if we go 1-0 doing or whatever, then he turn on them, get behind them, and try and push them over the line.
Yep.
I think massively, more than anyone, the fans need to step up. And could you imagine what's going to... You can imagine if we get beat, the Twitter meltdown that's going to happen and the Maloney outshouts and that.
We can't do that this time because we've got one the week after as well. Like, seriously. I think that if it wasn't for the fact... See, if we'd secured top six, this one's almost an irrelevancy, basically. Yeah. But obviously, I know we've got riding on it. For me, the semi's the big one. I mean, this one, it would be great to beat them at Tynecastle, but if you ask me, beat them at Tynecastle or beat them at Hampden, finally beat them at Hampden, I'd say I'd take them beating at Hampden.
Fuck that. Give me both.
Give me both, but I was saying if you had to pick one, looking at it realistically, if you have to pick one. So I don't think we're winning, but not to be negative. But anyway, that's a story for another day.
So before we do a wee women's update, I'm going to push you both for score predictions. I'll give mine as well. So Calvin, I'll start with you, mate.
1-1.
1-1. Jack?
You know what? I as much as I've just said, I think it's going to be a score draw. I'm going to go with what my guts tell me. So it's going to be 0-0 again.
I'm going 1-0 Hibs.
Do you know what? I might get 2-0 Hibs. I think Milkshire might get a double.
I think
Ken though. Because I Ken I've just came on and said how bad we are in that. You know what I mean? So
I've got a good feeling about it. 1-0 Hibs. So before we jump into Jack's Hibs quiz, we've just got a wee brief update on the women. So obviously there's no game for Hibs women this weekend as it's the women's international break, but we've got 2 Hibs players out on international duty. Leah Eddy is training with the senior squad ahead of their big World Cup qualifier against Spain on the 12th. Jack, do you think she'll get minutes?
I would like to hope so. I mean, let's be honest, this isn't a game Scotland have got a chance in at all. I mean, I hate to be negative, but you look at Spain, they've done us 7-0 when we went out to Seville. So I don't think we've got much of a chance against them. Why not start Leah, actually? I mean, I look at the other defenders in that Scotland team. Is she better than Nicola Doherty? Yes. Is she better than Jen Beattie? I think she's more mobile than Jen Beattie. I think she's got more pace than Jen Beattie. Jen Beattie's literally only starting because she plays for Arsenal.
Yep.
So, yeah, I think Leah should actually start. I'm going to put my neck on the line right here and say Leah deserves to start. She's been doing enough. Excellent young defender. She's better than Nicola Doherty or Jen Beattie for my money in that game. And against Spain's a meaningless one. You know, whenever we play Ukraine is a bigger game.
Aye.
And I think we've got the Faroes away as well, which could make the difference between getting through automatically if we can make up ground on Spain or cementing that big into the second, which obviously gets into the World Cup playoffs.
Yeah.
So I think Faroes and whenever we play Ukraine, a bigger game. Spain's an irrelevancy. It's a big occasion. Obviously, you've got Ballon d'Or winners like Putellas and that coming. It's a big show playing a top team like Spain. But I think for me, it's an irrelevancy as a game. So yeah, give Leah the shot because the girl deserves it.
Aye.
And that'd be excellent for her to step out at Hampden and play for Scotland.
Yep. And just another wee brief update. Ailey Adams is out with the under-19s as they continue their Euro qualifying campaign. And Ailey was benched on Tuesday night, but came on and scored Scotland's third goal in a 3-0 win over Kazakhstan at Ainsley Park. And the under-19s play
very nice.
The under-19s they play Estonia.
We're off there in Kazakhstan.
They play Estonia on Friday, then finish up with Kosovo next week. So positive to see 2 of the women out with the internationals. Obviously, we're hoping that more get the shot, but there's your brief Hibs women update for this week, and it's good to bring a weekly update to the women's game. So I'll hand over to you, Jack, for your Hibs quiz, and I'll see if I can win my crown back.
Yeah, Charlie versus Calvin. This is the biggest event. Forget Edinburgh Derby. This is the real Edinburgh
Here comes
Derby.
a bit when Jack takes it too far and starts answering his questions to freaking 1914.
Right, now, all I'm going to say is after accusations of cheating, I'm not going to be accusing anybody of cheating, all right? Because I'm nice like that. Anyway, we'll start off. So, question number, as always, like I said, 3 on the men, 3 on the women, but we'll start with question number 1, multiple choice. What former Hibs player was the Scotland manager during the national team's 1974 World Cup campaign in West Germany? Was it A, Laurie Riley, B, Willie Ormond, or C, Eddie Turnbull? I'll go to Calvin first.
Excellent.
Aye, great.
Calvin,
Willie Ormond.
Charlie?
Eddie Turnbull.
Can reveal it's 1-0. Calvin. Willie Ormond was in charge. He managed Scotland between 1973 and 1977. Unbeaten in the group stage.
Right up you, Jack.
Is it too early to accuse Calvin of cheating? I'm joking.
No, how could I get that? Quick. What would you even Google? What would you even Google to find that out? Question.
Anyway, it was an unbeaten campaign at that World Cup group stage. It still went out because Yugoslavia had the better goal difference.
In typical Scotland fashion.
I can. Still undefeated in the tournament, though.
True.
So going on to question number 2. And again, this one's multiple choice. We beat Hearts on our way to winning our first Scottish Cup in 1887, and we beat them at Easter Road in the 3rd round. What was the score? Now, it is a famous Derby score, so I'll give you 3 options. Was it A 5-1, B 6-2, or C 7-0? In that 3rd round tie in the 1887 Scottish Cup, which we eventually won. Charlie, I'll come to you first.
6-2.
Calvin?
I'll say 5-1.
It's 2-0, Calvin.
Oh,
but we beat Hearts 5-1 on our way to winning our first Scottish Cup in 1887.
We've got the original 5-1.
So we have got the original. That really is the original. Yeah,
that was a good
exactly.
by the way.
Aye, I was there myself. Right, let's.
Well, I would have been there, but I'd been conscripted to fight in the Boer War. Anyway, now we'll go on to question number 3. And this is nearest guess wins. How many full-time managers have Hibs had to date? I'll go to Calvin first. So this doesn't count intern or caretaker managers.
Oof.
God, hundreds, man.
I thought this was all going to be Edinburgh Derby related, but you've just thrown me
Okay.
right off here, Jack.
147 years in existence. Just let me give me a second to think. I'll say 65.
Right, Charlie.
More than that.
50.
More than that, man.
What are you saying, Charlie?
50.
I can reveal that Charlie's a close. We've had
Yes!
33 full-time
Yes!
managers.
33, that's not.
What, since we first started?
Mind
Yep.
that, like, Dan,
33 managers.
back in the day, though, they were in charge for like 10 years
Yeah,
at a
but
minimum.
you've got to remember, like,
Aye, that's what I'm trying to work out.
2-1, come on. Come back, son.
Anyway, Carl, right, you're
That
not arguing
can't
about
be
it. So,
right.
we're now going into the women's questions. It's
Come on.
still all to play for. So, before becoming first team head coach, what age level did Dean Gibson manage within the academy? Go to Calvin first.
Go to Charlie first. You were me last time.
I got me.
Sorry, I've got Charlie.
I think 20s.
Calvin.
Is he right? He was a youth. I think he was just one level below. So what's one level below the first team? They was 21s because freaking half the first team were 21.
Might be might be younger than that.
The 19s.
Reveal you're both wrong. It was our under 23s performance squad.
Under 23s.
Which was disbanded when
Half our first team would get into that.
Yeah, well,
That's what I'm saying.
that's why it got disbanded, is he took a lot of the first team players that we have now up with.
Because
him.
I remember seeing a video with Rhea talking about Dean being
I
our
did
coach.
that.
Aye, there we are.
So it's still 2-1 to Calvin. Heading into question number 4. This one's multiple choice again. So, what Ukrainian side did Hibs women face in the 2017-18 Women's Champions League qualifying round? Was it A, Dynamo Kiev, B, WFC Kharkiv 2, or C, Zorya Luhansk? Go to Calvin first.
Read the options again.
Dynamo Kiev, WFC Kharkiv 2, or Zorya Lugansk? Or Luhansk, sorry.
Kiev,
Kharkiv or
Kharkiv, and who?
Luhansk.
Luhansk. Which one sounds realistic?
Are they kind of shoot in the middle? Go B.
Right, Charlie.
C.
Can reveal that it's 3-1 Calvin.
Oh no!
We drew with WFC Kharkiv in the qualifying round, 1-1. The WFC should have given it away. Women's Football Club, WFC. So
quiz over.
Basically, well, you can play for pride here.
Play for pride here.
Again, this one's
Hibs that man.
Again, this one's multiple choice. What Fife club did Hibs women beat 6-1 in the 2005 League Cup final to lift the trophy for the first time? Was it A, Wraith Rovers, B, Dunfermline Athletic, or C, East Fife? Going to you first, Charlie.
East Fife.
Calvin.
I'll go Wraith Rovers because I know they've got a women's team for sure.
So I can reveal that it's a drubbing, Calvin. It's 4-1 Calvin. Calvin gets it right. We beat Wraith Rovers 6-1 to lift our first League Cup in 2005.
I'll tell you something, this is not a victory over Charlie, this is a victory over Jack.
How's that a victory over me?
Victory over...
Because you tried to drown me and I came back. You threw me
I
to the
wouldn't try to
wolves.
drown a goddamn thing.
You threw me to the wolves and I came back leading the pack. That's what happened.
That's a Chris Mueller quote, is it, no?
I don't know, but you got slapped.
4-1 to Calvin.
That's a bad one for me. Like,
Charlie.
Streak is well and truly over.
You may as well do what the Japanese done when they've been humiliated. Get the sword out and.
Anyway,
that's it.
I'm lucky guess, to be fair. Half of them are multiple choice. How have I got the first one? I've no idea.
Well done, Calvin. I've got to say, well done, Calvin.
Good job, mate. Anyway,
well done, Calvin. We've got to give him some sort of.
You tried to trip
give him
me
some
up,
sort
mate,
of recognition after what we did to him on Tuesday night.
Anyway, before this turns into a mad clusterfuck, let me bring this to a close. We'll be back on Monday, potentially still with a hangover after we've beat Hearts of Tynecastle, and we'll be reviewing the game and then looking ahead to another derby. That's strange to think. But until next time, come on, the Hibs.